we'll give people a second to join.
I can just see Brandon as just a high leverage trader. Just gambles his life away.
Yeah.
Wall Street. What's that? What's the nickname?
Watt of Wall Street.
There you go. There you go. Watt of Wall Street. Do you have a high risk tolerance, Brandon?
Depends.
Like, are you the type of guy that whenever you're losing a lot of money, do you like get dead sick to your stomach? Do you like want to go after it? Do you want to leave? Like, how does your reaction happen when you lose a lot of money?
I'd say the first few seconds, like the initial hit, say like Bitcoin was a good example. I was bugging out more when it went from like back in 2017 when it went from like 19 to 17 than I was when it went from 17 to 3.
Yeah.
Like I was like, asking people, what should I do? What should I do? And then I finally said, fuck it. Too bad. That's it. I'll hold it. I don't really give a shit what happens. Did it go to 3? Yeah, but I didn't sell it at 6. I didn't sell it at 10. Like I was like, all right, whatever.
Right. No, I feel that. I don't know. I hate losing more than I hate losing money. So I kind of get mad at first just from losing in general. And then I kind of have an initial shock like you do. And then I start to want to like, I don't know, get it back.
Yeah.
Fight to get it back, I guess. I don't know. Some people just like fold and shit, run for the hills. Not necessarily a negative trait, just kind of what they do, I guess.
It's fine to be risky if you do it smart. Like my aunt was talking to me today. She says, "Oh, my friend wants to do this crypto thing or whatever, and she wants me to get in on it." Or I said, "Look, like I know nothing about it aside from Bitcoin. This is new, so I'd say to you, my only advice could be invest whatever you would like to lose as a favor, but don't disregard it because if for whatever reason in 5 years it's 100x what it is now, you're going to be kicking yourself. But also like don't put in anything. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it's just once you're smart with it, it's not a big deal. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure everything out.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we got another kind of meh week with shoes.
Well, we got fucked. Let's just call it what it is. In a good way. Like I wasn't really in the mood to have people run for me anyway this weekend. But at the same time, everything did get pushed back as people would make fun of me for saying. But, people also
I feel like you have no right to get mad at a pushback release with the reputation it's gotten you.
No, I'm just saying, like, everyone would laugh. Oh, push back. What the fuck does he know? Just like they would laugh when people said to short the housing market, they would call them idiots. So, you want to call me
similar things. Very similar things.
If people want to call me Michael Burry, that's fine. That's all good. I mean, I really am a sneaker release dates. The only one that I did reverse Flint or red Flints did get pushed up, but that's the only one that broke my hypothesis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so what exactly do we know about that release?
Which one?
The Hyper Royals.
Oh, all right, let's go into the Hyper Royals then.
Yeah. I thought y'all were talking about Hyper Royals.
Oh no, well, in a way I was, yeah. But so I don't know. I feel like this is a shoe that a price has been set for it that it didn't set itself, if that makes any sense. I feel like there's extenuating sneakers and comparisons and everything that make this shoe do better than it did. Like if I were to release sneakers in a vacuum, I think this one does okay. But because of how other sneakers are doing and how other ones have done, I don't know. It's just going to start out of the gate crazy.
So you just like not a big fan of this model or what?
I think if this sneaker was to release, let's put everything in like 2019. I think that's fair. If this sneaker was to release in 2019, which it kind of did, I think it would do what the green pair did, maybe a little bit better. I think, and then in the same breath, if
How
you're
about the turbos?
yeah, and because those are doing so well, I mean, like that kind of just is like these can't do poorly. Then you have UNCs that came out of the gate ripping, and I kind of feel like Mocha's kind of set the stage for that one in a way. Just in the same way where last year, I don't know if Royal Toes would have done as well as they did out of the gate if Court Purples didn't kind of break the loop of Jordans don't sell in a way. Not the same thing, just the same type of where other sneakers made this one do better than it would have done, especially initially, right off the rip.
I feel like that. I feel like this shoe. Like I feel like what's the deciding factor right now on some of these shoes is whether or not they're one of the hot colors that we have all known about forever. Like especially when AJ ones, and then whether or not, and then the correlation with how high a percentage of both men and women are wearing them. And I think this one meets a lot of those. I think I like the turbo better. I'm going to say it's a better turbo green just because I think it's a better color to sell and a more wearable shoe for a higher percentage of the population.
It's more vibrant too.
Can I also, like, if these come out at 420, like, and that's only, I mean, that's still like $20-$30 under what they're selling now. I mean, I would just sell every single. I don't see that shoe appreciating that quickly. I mean, am I crazy? Or if it's coming up above 400, where's the room for growth in 6 months to a year? I just don't know if I see it.
I agree with that. I don't think you sell them all though. I think a lot of these shoes right now are plays where you're silly to not take profits immediately, but I think you're also silly to not put away some for long-term speculation.
Well, I feel like I feel like these will be similarly priced 6 months from now, say November.
Not on consign, they won't be. I get you on apps. On consign, these fuckers will bang. That's my opinion, but I think. Then
you're in more of like an arbitrage space anyway. That's different.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So I'm saying if let's keep StockX as the one marketplace you're selling on, if I don't see any reason why I wouldn't really sell them, especially if they come out that high right away. If you want to reassess 6 months from now, sure. I just don't see any growth in 6 months, so I don't know why you would hold it for 6 months and tie the money up. Is my point.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point.
Why not invest in a sneaker that's been out for 6 months already? And put the money into that.
I agree with that. I was just saying, but like I think it's okay just to keep a couple pairs for like basically like what you would consider. I don't know. It's like calling them like moon bags, like in trading. Like, you sell a majority of your positions off, but you keep a couple just because they're basically free rolls and you've opened up enough liquidity to take off the opportunity cost.
I agree with that, but then that argument could be spun into, well, now you're playing with house money on a sneaker that's been out for 6 months already, that has dried up, that is going to maybe appreciate quicker. Anyway, so either way you're playing with house money, it's
true.
I feel like, that's kind of my position on it. Again, I typically have a bias towards sneakers I like for sneakers I don't like, if you haven't noticed. But not that I don't like this one, I just don't love it. And that's kind of where I'm at with it.
In terms of like wearability, when is somebody going to wear these?
So if it snows, you could take that artsy picture in the snow with like, you get 2 inches of snow and you get the grass peeking out on the side.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could imagine it stepping out, no boots. Like that.
Yeah. Well, Gloss will tell us. Gloss, how do the cool people wear these? I need to know.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt you guys while you were going on your spiels.
Well, you should interrupt me if I say something. You have to interrupt me if I say something stupid. Then it's like I can't keep talking like shit for 2 minutes.
Absolutely not. I gotta let you ride out. So we've been obviously talking about this a lot in the store. Just like, yes, the turbo comp makes sense from the look, but you'd be silly to. The only comp you need is the UNC because they dropped in the same market. Like what Brandon's saying about 2019 makes sense, but you can't like pick and place. Well, if this shoe dropped this year or if this shoe dropped now, because the market's always evolving and
I'm
styles and
saying,
changes.
I'm just saying
for sure.
And I'm not at the same time. I'm taking UNC's every time,
and that's fine. And at first thought, I agreed with you, but after talking to a lot of people, I think that this is the winner between the two. It seems to be that people generally like this one better. And in terms of when you're wearing this, like this, feel like this is going to be the shoe that people wear all summer. Because my first thought about this was, oh, everybody went so crazy on UNC. This is from a customer's perspective. Everyone was croaked down on UNCs. They all needed pairs. They're going to pass on this one because they're similar enough that you don't need both. But that seems to not be the case where people are fiending these the same way. And I was surprised, but everyone I spoke to in terms of customers and everything, they think that this one is better than the other. And this is a need for men and women. So
wow.
I've in the last 2 weeks, I totally changed my stance. And I think that this one's going to be the winner in terms of like, so that's from a store perspective and like how I'm going to sell this weekend. In terms of pricing action, this one still is getting delayed places. Like Foot Locker is not doing their GS the right way. Snipes around here doesn't have their pairs coming in. Atmos is delayed GS. So like, I don't know what Lapstone is doing. So with all of these stores like doing it this way, this feels like another one, which we've seen recently where things are higher than they should be release day because the amount of pairs in the marketplace don't factor in demand. So it makes a lot of sense to sell off at least a large chunk if you're getting pairs release day, in my opinion. Because for that reason, as the store owner, I'm not selling any for a cheaper, like they're 500 to 550 in the store release day and they'll stay that way. We're not going to adjust prices down, only up at that point. So like, that's going to be the flat line. And what Brandon's saying, I think makes a lot of sense that this shoe, people are creating the shoe price on this one, that it's coming out so high out of the gate because of what UNC is doing. Whereas I think that with true demand coming out, I think you would see a big push on release day where it might stay flat because I don't know if this shoe surpasses where UNC is now on release day.
UNCs are pushing 480 on release day. I could not, and I don't love the UNC one. Like I'm not.
Releases suck though right now.
Over it.
Right, but I don't see. I see this one maybe jumping $20 to $30 where it is now max. I don't see that big push that because UNC started out that high. It wasn't like they were 380 and they pumped. Like they stayed flat. They went up probably a little bit, but that was it. Where I think here you're going to see the same thing.
Yeah, and I would sell it right away. And then,
and I don't. I mean, it's always fair. Which, like, when anybody DMs me and they ask what they should do, and I say, like, if you have 10, 20 pairs, sell 10, keep 10. If you want to take that strategy, that's good too. But here, I wouldn't be worried about selling off a bunch of pairs and not having an opportunity to get back in. Even if you get back in a month and it costs you the same that you sold it for, and you just want to get back in the position. I don't see it where if you sell on release day and a couple weeks later you want to get back in, that you're out like $70 to $80. I just don't see it.
See, like, what if you like mochas are literally the same price right now? Like I'm saying, like, what if you traded essentially half your pairs for mochas, like sold 10, use the profits to
that's what I was doing on release day with you. People were trading mochas. It was a no-brainer. I would do the same thing on Saturday. I would trade a Hyper Royal for a mocha all day.
Just because, I'm almost sure mochas are more limited. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or about the same?
Give or take. You're also when you get to that level of like for a Jordan 1 over 150K, it's all going to kind of feel the same unless we get one that's like 275 plus. Like anything, I think from 150 to 2 with that number of pairs, I think is going to feel similar.
Yeah, I don't know. Mochas to me felt more limited, and I don't know. They're just so far along now. Those released in what, October?
Yeah, and this should be where mochas are calm if you go based on colorways and seasonality, where they're dropping hyper royals at the perfect time. Mochas, we would expect to get a pump. If it's going to get one, it's going to be like back to school time.
Fall. Yeah.
For sure.
And I could see it being a $500 shoe. You know, I'm talking StockX, $500, $550. I don't think that's so out of the question. I think those get there before these do.
Yeah, totally.
So that's my opinion on it. That would be my play if I was to do that.
Yeah.
All
It'll be interesting to see how long, like the UNC is still releasing. Like there was that release at Foot Locker a week or two ago. I wonder how long this Hyper Royal release is going to go.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, a lot of these release days are just so fucked right now. It's not, you know, you can almost. That's kind of why, like, my thesis has changed a little bit about offloading some on release day, even though during the pop period, because it's just so inflationary right now during the releases because the product is just not there to meet the demand ever. Like, it doesn't matter what the fuck the shoe is. So much less some of these shoes that are really sought after.
Yeah.
Interesting to watch.
Holy shit! And some grade school pairs are like close to 500 already.
Well, that's because grade school seems, besides the fact that this definitely feels like more of a grade school shoe than men's.
I was talking
about
Mocha. Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about Hyper Royals, but no, Mocha grade school is great. I've been trying to trade men's for grade schools.
Yeah. All right. We got anything else up in here?
No, we can. Yeah, we have the.
Speculate on all these coming up. I mean, the UNC theme is crazy right now. Fours are high.
This is what they just did. They went in on this shoe. Like, from everything I've seen, this is one of the best executed GRs I've ever seen in my life.
How can you say that with that tongue? Yeah,
the
how
tongue
can you
is
say
horrible.
that with that tongue?
Well, yeah, you guys have scissors.
Okay, but if it's the best executed shoe that they've made in a while, and I need to use scissors, then it's not the best executed shoe in a while. It's just a poorly executed shoe.
This is a fantastic sneaker, and I mean the prices are ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not, to me, it's not a $500 shoe at all. But
well, you know, this is a big GR, and it hasn't released yet, so of course it's not a $500 sneaker. Like, it should be what Fire Reds came out of the gate at.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
I'd say on the low end it's what Fire Reds came out of the gate at. The high end it's what Taupe Fours came out of the gate at.
I think
there's a lot more pairs. There's way more pairs of these than Taupes.
I think we're
like at least double.
How accessible are those pairs going to be? Like, we can't get shit right now. Like, nothing is coming in. Like, I mean, it's just releases online are an absolute mess. Releases in store, absolute mess. I mean, I feel like it's definitely changing up a way, you know, a lot of these shoes pricing and making them just to where they hold some of these inflationary prices that we're seeing early pre-release that we used to not see them hold as much. Like, some of these shoes I wouldn't, I mean, y'all know I'm notorious for charting these shoes late because of it's one of the reasons in the equation is because these things just deflate so much in the past, and I mean, it's, you know, we're not seeing it. So
I mean, they're deflating more now. It's just taking longer.
Plus, do you know production on these relative to Lightning 4s?
They're both like the two of the biggest GRs of the year, but I think Lightning 4s is more.
Wow, that's good.
Oh yeah, Lightning 4. I think Lightning 4 should be like Raging Bull levels.
That's
their plan. That's their plan. Like, that Jordan is, they're making ones are going to be bigger stocks every release, and then the big retros, your Cool Grays, your Raging Bulls, UNC 4s, Lightning 4s. Carmines are going to be massive, and then these other ones, like the smaller GR, like the retros, are going to be more limited, like the Change the Worlds, like the Taupe 4s. Like a Taupe 4 was a banger for us, but they might not have seen the demand when they made the shoe, whereas like they know with the UNC and the color blocking, everything. Like, where are Georgetown 3s? Like, half the stores in Philly haven't even dropped Georgetown 3s.
It's a shit show.
It's basically impossible to get shoes at retail if you're a normal person. I mean, we're complaining about like bots, whatever, but if you're a normal person, like it's impossible to get shoes right now.
Exactly.
I shake my head every time I see someone wear a pair of Jordans, just because I know for a fact they didn't pay retail. Last night I was at the I don't know, Pelicans Knicks game, and some kid walks by me in a pair of like blue threes, whichever, I don't know, royal blue threes, whatever they were, and I'm like, this kid definitely probably paid like $350 for these on whatever app or whatever. I'm like, I just don't know how people do it.
I feel like you have no right to be mad at him though, because like he's your customer.
No, I didn't say I was mad. I probably had a part in selling him those. I'm just saying, like, it's just weird for me to see that. It's just a weird feeling, because it's not like they walk into a Foot Locker most of the time.
I saw a girl with shadow mids on today at the grocery store, and I was absolutely stunned.
Wow.
I do double takes.
I was like, huh? What the fuck?
Did you offer her some band?
We need BSH cards.
See, I don't know. Again, I think this is another one where people are creating a price for it, and I think we're seeing that.
I think it's just way too early.
Players aren't flooding the market, so you can do that.
I'm just okay. Well, then we'll see. But I have a feeling it's going to be the same exact thing. I don't see these going for $240. I just don't.
I think that they will definitely come down, because again,
I'll bet you, I'll throw money on it then.
$240. That's a low figure.
He said on the, like, at some point, fire red numbers, which were 230s to 250s. So I'm right in the middle, 240. I'll bet money on it. I just do not see it.
I need to figure out what retail is. We'll get back to this next week.
No, 200. I don't know. I'm ready to throw down.
I'm ready to throw. I bet you are. That's an easy ass bet. I don't think they're going to be selling for anything like we're seeing, but I think just the way releases are going, it's very hard not to put big sizes up in the at least low to mid 300s on release day, and
even small sizes, because again, Jordan
75 plus, in my opinion.
Jordan 4s are just the ones that, to me, probably the best all around in all sizes.
People just go nuts for this Carolina color, which is funny for me being and living in North Carolina, because I've seen it my whole life. So every time I see this, I just literally think about like regional. But it's just crazy to me how many people see this color and don't think Tar Heels and just like the baby blue color.
Yeah,
that's
also great. Like, it's a great spring shoe, summer shoe. It's just like,
it's just so hard not to just go that route.
I'm getting 2 of these for myself. So
what do you guys think about the Travis comp with these?
It's been in my head. I was wondering when
definitely alive. The poor man.
Can I say this? Like, if you want firsthand information.
Well, you said the quality's top tier, so that means it must be, right?
So what happened was I was trying to find a pair of Travis 4s. And this is like last year. I was trying to find a pair of Travis 4s. Worn, but I want to get a new pair, and I just couldn't really find a good condition pair, whatever. And I was searching and searching and searching, and then I see this. I'm like, oh, I don't think I need the Travis 4s anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, and I swear, like, you could look at my GOAT searches, you could look at eBay, you could look at my DMs from people on Instagram. I was looking for Travis 4s. I've since canceled my search. These are going to be it. I'm getting 2 of these. So. Again,
interesting.
That's just me, though.
He said 2 of them.
All right,
well,
so I'm looking at the stock numbers. It's 3 times the amount of Taupe 4s.
That's
so we're gonna see a third of that on release day. I mean, it's so fucked right now with that. I don't know. I feel like. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with Gloss. It eventually goes down to the mean, but with some of these shoes, I think people miss the period where they get them for cheap because of the way it's being released. And we've all known that release procedures have so much to do with the way price action plays out. And in the past, I think, a lot of people being the general public, even probably caught on that they could get shoes for a decent price like the week later. And that's kind of being taken away from them, the way these things are being released, and then they get staggered drop online and people scoop them. Obviously the people like us scoop them, and then they get staggered drop in store, and those are just the in-store boys cleaning house. So
it's impossible.
Where's the down spot? And I think that has to do a lot with release procedure. Now, granted, I agree with Gloss's point on shoes that aren't as sought after. It'll create a more of a fake inflation that'll catch up to where the drop will come into play because the shoes just really doesn't have real demand. But I don't know, Gloss, it seems like from what you were saying earlier that they're kind of adjusting production for that, which kind of takes away the opportunity for that as well. So it's kind of a shitty spot to be a buyer.
For sure.
You can't buy anything in this world right now. Like nothing. This is bad to be buying anything right now. Not fun.
It's tough. I mean, even like PS5s, it's crazy.
Did you see that shit where they're sitting in Europe? Oh my God.
Yeah, but like only for a second, right?
I don't know. But it just is something that I could see happening in Europe. If you UK boys are watching this, I hope them shits aren't sitting in your stores.
No, I think they're still pretty hard to get. And the thing is that like there's no supply coming anywhere because there's just shortages everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's been tough.
Yeah, I had somebody call today who I sold a PS5 to a couple weeks ago and asked, and we raised the price because the price has gone up. Because he has to be like freaking out that we raised the price on him. Like, come on, man. I was like, listen, bro, this is how the game works. Like, it's supply and demand. Yeah.
That's how the game works, baby.
Well, Gloss, you brought out a chart for him showing the supply curve and the demand curve, and you're like, we're here. Like this. Like, sorry, sir, but we're like right here right now.
Sorry, sir. We're here. That's just
couldn't do it to him.
All right.
These are another Carolina sneaker.
The 24th?
Yeah.
Am I right about that? Okay.
2 weeks out.
Bangers. Buy all pairs.
I agree.
190,000% buy all pairs.
Great.
I think anybody any age can wear this sneaker.
Anything, man. This is such an eBay shoe. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is such an eBay shoe. The margins can be maximized there, and you will move volume.
These will be $250. I think they have. And
damn,
grade school is a huge play. And I'm not saying it like I'm some sort of, psychic. I mean, I'm nothing. I'm just saying like what we all kind of know. It screams like this is such an easy women's shoe.
Oh, it's just such a And I mean, there's a lot of dudes who can rock shit out of this. There's a lot of dudes.
No, of course. I'm just saying
in the high version.
If a woman has a choice between this and a Concord Bread, I'm sorry, but I don't think it's a difficult choice.
Well, but also remember you have those Citron ones coming too.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I know, but I think these are better than Citrons anyway. I mean,
not for the females, Citrons have huge OG deal, especially for the female.
I agree because you have that little pop of yellow, which is like summery or whatever.
Citrons used to be the fucking shit, man. I mean, those used to be the shit, like big time hard. When Jordan 11 lows weren't like even out, they had the Citrons out, and I mean, you just would see people wanting those forever. So I don't know. I'm with you, Brandon. I think the women will absolutely choose that hands down. I just think the Citron's going to take away a little bit from some buys.
And this is one, again, just a consistent seller that's going to be selling for the next 18 months without any problem. So for what it's worth, if you could find your opportunities on like StockX days down the line, or, you see some sort of weird at stadium good sale, because stuff like that does happen. That stuff I would literally go pick it up 200-ish, whatever you get it, 220 on StockX. I don't know what the numbers are going to be. And then just arbitrage it at any other consignment spot. I think that should be a good play on these. Worst case,
yeah, totally.
A size 4 citrus or yeah, it's called Citrus apparently, not Citron, but it sold for $939 3 days ago. A size 4U.
Katz was telling me he wanted a personal.
I definitely don't believe that one.
I can't believe that number though. $940.
Citrons, man, they have some serious OG appeal.
Yeah, they also dropped 5 years ago. So the thing, or not, yeah, no, this year too. What's
different world?
Those dropped the same day as 350s and shattered backboards. Turtle Doves and shattered backboards. That's what it shares the release date with.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. On
wow.
like 99% sure.
That's crazy because like I didn't, that shit didn't even cross my mind for that release date, but makes sense. Timing wise.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it more as we get close to the drop. I know you guys wanted to just bring these up. I think these are gonna be great. Brandon, how many?
Good.
Brandon, how many personals?
I set my number at 10. I'm just gonna stick to that.
10 personals? Jesus.
Well, because I figure like I want to be able to wear it without worrying about it, because I want to be able to, like, this is one of my favorite sneakers, and when's the next time it's ever going to come out? I mean, the way Jordan Brand's going, maybe next year, but I don't see it.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, I've waited. I think I've wanted this shoe since like 2014, 2015 maybe, and it's like it's that white whale. Like I was never able to get it.
Yeah.
So
well, when did they first drop?
2006.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, again, it's not like we got to talk about it now in terms of, what do we think? If production's as high as we think, then maybe it doesn't do as well. But again, like, I still think is it not a $300 shoe off the rip, no matter how many pairs they put out? This is, to me, this is like one of those.
It's been a grail for people since they got into shoes, like regardless of the era they came in.
Shit's been like this.
Yeah.
This to me is a shoe that's like falls in the typical Brandon, like just buy it and sell it as a retro and Christmas, and there's just literally no way you're not going to make money off of it. I think you can absolutely sell some of these on release day or whatever if you want, but if they have all the pairs that we're talking about having, I think the play here is going to be to unload these around Christmas, because like Smurf said, these are grails for a lot of people, and buying shoes is so hard right now that they might just not get the opportunity to buy them when they come out, but they will remember them when it comes time to, holiday season type shit. So I don't know. That's the play I like.
Gloss, could we comp these in a way to just, let's say this happens, could we comp it to a Fire Red 4 in a sense where they'll come out fairly low, not in terms of the actual numbers of like whatever the prices are, but you give that shoe, 3-4 months for people to actually who want it to go get it, when they have money, it appreciates to $300 or not, forget whatever price, it goes up $60 in no time. It just strikes me as a consistent seller, and I mean, who doesn't want it? I mean, maybe a lot of people don't want it, but you know what I mean.
It's one of those things where it is such a classic and grail for people, but we are living in a time where like so much of that nostalgia of that just doesn't matter anymore. Whereas like after that, like, is it going to be a situation where, which we'll see how Raging Bulls play out, because all red shoes have a good history, a good track record, but like so many people bought Raging Bulls this weekend because they missed out on them and the pack was too expensive, whatever. But after that, it's all people like, just do they like how it looks now? So if Lightning 4s are really like 400,000 pairs, after that, say, first 200,000 of people like you who absolutely need as grails, whatever, will the rest of that stock be picked up by people who like that yellow color and also like 4s, and like that's the 4 they want over, say, of all the 4s this year, Fire Reds, Taupes, UNCs, those Oreo ones I think are going to be an absolute banger.
Yeah.
Like, because, and we've talked about that in the store, the thing with those Oreo 4s is like, yes, Brandon, the way you look at it is they're such a poor man's white cement. Like they're just a cheap knockoff version. But that doesn't matter to the people that are wearing mids and lows. They want a white and gray Jordan 4 they can wear with anything, but they don't want to spend $600 on a white cement with Nike Air. They don't care about that. When they can get this Oreo one, which they might argue is better because it's cleaner.
Yeah.
So that's where it worries me a little bit with Lightning in that sense. Will the nostalgia and all of these people that it's their grails make up the amount of stock that they're putting into it? Like if they made them like Taupe 4s limited, like 100,000 pairs, they'd be an absolute banger, everything with it. But you put it to Carmine level, I don't know. It just worries me a little bit.
Well, I say 4s over 6s anyway, but yeah, I see your point.
Totally, but you also, I would
color.
say Carmines are more iconic than Lightning 4s, though. Like Carmines are an on-court Jordan.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think too, like yellow Jordans in general, yellow and black Jordans just do well. Like, I mean, there's not too many yellow and black Jordans you can find that don't do well. I think that adds to like offsetting your point, which I think is valid.
You know what these are? These are them 4s.
Them 4s?
Yeah, I think so.
Brandon, can we expect a picture from you with one Lightning on one foot and one UNC on the other, and then like a Lightning strikes in Carolina caption?
I don't think I could do it that cringy. I mean,
but the thing is with them too is like the ones that we say like are them 12s that whatever, they are always releases that have less pairs than it feels like they have, where it's not like it was never them fire red 4s. Or like them Carmine.
Oh no, I'm just saying them 12s. I'm just saying them 12s are the same colorway. Like, sorry.
I know.
The
I
them
know, but like
1.0s are the same colorway as these.
Right, but like it feels like the shoe this year that might be them's is going to be like those Flint 13s, them red Flints, or like that's the type of shoe that people are like, oh, Flints didn't do well for so long, I'm going to pass, and then people are choked out because they need a red pair.
Sure. I like it. Whoa! Every 700 just
them Knicks Yeezys.
Those are the Knicks Yeezys. Too bad.
Are we seeing these on?
See Dev all excited about it. He loves himself some Knicks.
These are terrible.
One little thing about basketball. I mean, look, I don't really care. I know it's not a sports talk show, but in all fairness, I realize I only like watching teams that have a reason to play hard, and I don't really give a shit what happens in sports. I went to the Knicks game last night. It was just such a pleasure to watch two teams who are both fighting for a playoff spot actually play basketball, as opposed to like the crap that we see now in baseball and basketball with the better teams. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and it annoys me to no end. Sorry. Yes, these. Yeah. I was going to call the Michael K show today and say it. I just didn't have time, so I just figured I'd say it. I've called in before. Brandon from New Orleans.
I called in on the Jim Rome show back in the day.
We should get some BSH Collins.
I called in when Jordan ripped his coach.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
When Jordan ripped his coach at the Hall of Fame induction, and it was on the Jim Rome show talking about Jordan doing that. And I called in and talked to the producer. And he said, "What are you going to tell Jim?" And I said, "I'm going to tell Jim what the hell he think Jordan was going to do. Give him a, I said something like give him an award or something like that." And so they put me on that. And then Jim kicked me off, and then he made a comment.
Could you imagine if we had called? We could do that so easily too. We should have.
We definitely could.
Oh my God.
I mean, guys, if you're not buying any 700 release that's in this model, I'm not trying to go nuts on it on release day. Just it's not hard. Just go for them. These models sell even if they're crazy ugly colors. So
I'd like to meet who's like wanting a personal of these.
I want to meet whoever bought my Suns, but
who wanted the Suns? These are at least better than the Suns.
Yeah, those are better than the Suns, no question.
But so if people were buying Suns, then people are going to buy these. And
fair enough.
Suns were but it's also like we give Adidas so much shit, but at least they're doing it right. It seems like the Suns were super, super limited, which caused this increase in demand. And if these blues are the same way, I think it's going to be the same kind of vibe.
Yeah, fair.
Like the creams were more available, but the creams were we know is a much more aesthetically pleasing look and colorway.
Right.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what else needs to be said about that, Coach. You nailed it. At 240 on top of it, any 700 at this point right now, you're going until we see one that sits or that is hovering around retail as a sale like we saw a couple years ago. You got to on any 700 V1, V2, V3, you have to run it up. Like Kyanites aren't doing great right now, but I feel very strongly about them.
I think they're still a buy, really.
Yeah, and they sell very well in the store.
I think.
Did you see those mauve 2.0s?
No.
Yeah,
I'm really interested to see what happens with those.
I think they're going to be very solid. Because my guess they're going to be at 240 retail. There's no way they're going to produce as many as last time because that was the shoe that sat everywhere. But people still ask about that shoe.
Yeah, it was a great colorway. It was just too expensive and too many pairs.
Oh man, great.
It was just too many. It was too many pairs.
Colorway.
Brandon, I mean, when the alternative is this, like it's hard. It's hard for that not to be a great colorway. I mean, would you rather wear that or a Sun?
Tell me what's different.
I'd rather wear UNC
and the Jordan 4 taupe or whatever it's called. It's a
I
little bit darker.
I wasn't a huge fan of them.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, that's fair. At least
it really is good for the mobs. The fact that you could have had pairs for $200, and I know it's a few years later, but like the fact is that pairs like are above retail and payout is above retail.
That's crazy.
Like
yeah.
Like that shoe, you could have bought unlimited pairs from like as low as 180 to like 240 all day.
All day.
People quit the shoe game because of that shoe because they hit so many pairs and they just lost so much money.
Bro, yeah. I took a you remember that, Gloss? I took a customs charge on those motherfuckers.
I remember. It really is. It really is. And the demand
top of retail.
I mean, for a shoe that old, that random, 4 pairs sold on StockX today. Like that's pretty solid for the mobs. Like it's really crazy. So I love that to see how the 2.0 does. Because people like the 2.0. Salts, all these 700s have rebounded. It's great. Love it.
Salts are bangers. I own 2 pairs of 700s and I own no personals, basically. I own 4 personals and 3 personals. 3? Yeah, 3 personals and 2 are 700s.
We need an analog restock. These GS sizes are stupid expensive. And people ask about that shoe all the time.
Oh, what?
That's another one. The analogs are $400 across the board on StockX now. As expensive as like $800.
Bro, people talk about all these shoes. Like you could have just literally sat on 700s for the last year and just accumulated them for like a month and just sat on them and just loved life. Just fucking love life.
Yeah,
like magnet,
absolutely.
Like all kinds of shit. I mean,
if you guys remember last summer during Stadium Goods had all those sales, I was getting pairs as cheap as like $250 last summer, and I sold through all of them at consignment I sold at Tefras for like $600, and at Tefras were bricks. They were below retail. Now they're like, almost.
Tefras were like sitting on. Tefras were sitting on sale on Go. Brick status, like sitting on the sale.
The prices on those are way up too. It's crazy.
Utility blacks are still beautiful, but the difference about utility blacks is the bigger sizes have caught up now to where you saw the obvious 5 through 7.5s or whatever. Like 11's $498, and 11.5's $513, 12 $531, 10 $480. I mean, buy 700s, guys. It's not hard. Anything else on that slide?
I want to dunk.
No.
Oh yeah, this is a good one. If you're paying attention 2 weeks ago to me and Gloss talking about this fucking shoe, you saw prices, and we were saying, I remember my exact words. I was like, damn, these prices just make me want to go buy right now, Jeff. And they were like 290s for the or 280s, 270s for the base sizes. Yeah, that worked.
That's exactly what I did. I bought. They come in every day. I bought like 50 or 60 pairs. Nobody would sell them to me. I did resort to StockX and eBay.
That was the genius of it. Is I completely agreed with it, as much as I don't like the sneaker, because all I would see was store owners on Twitter tweeting, cashing out both colorways. You know, hey, need them. And to me, that was the bottom. They pretty much set that bottom, because you knew they weren't buying them to hold. They were buying them because they're moving to consumers in store. So every pair they bought was a pair taken out of the market, a dead stock pair being taken out of the market. So that was spot on. That was a great pick.
The best part about this is that we are nowhere near. We are just starting. Like, it's like June, July. These, like, we're just at the beginning of people actually wearing the shoe, because it's only April 15th. Like,
so
what?
Sure.
Where does it?
Buying?
Assuming that they don't re-release any of these colorways in the next couple of months, which I wouldn't put it past Yeezy. Assuming that, like, just more colorways come, we get that dark one, maybe we get another whatever. Like, I think from where we are now, you're going to see at least $150 growth on every side. Like, I still don't even think it's a bad buy to buy, like, some of these sizes now.
I think I have like 15 pairs sitting somewhere. I just don't know where.
This guy's so rich, man. I'm like so old, and I just want to be as rich as Brandon. Like, I don't even get it. I just want to fucking sit and eat steaks and have sheds full of shoes everywhere. Like, I don't know.
now the steaks have become fiscally responsible. So let's, I do what I have to do.
Do what you have to do. All right. Good shit. Yeah. Well, let's see if we were Gloss. Gloss, we kind of were wrong on this one a little bit. It's kind of keeping up, but we didn't think.
But Sand is still taking the lead in terms of, like, pricing by a little bit
and volume. It's shitting on volume.
Yeah. It's just we were right on that part. Like, Sand is the one people are going to want because it's the more basic colorway.
Yeah,
but it'll be interesting to see how that next one, the dark one, the mineral blue or whatever, how that impacts things. Because I feel like people are just going to buy that one that already has, like they've made it, which is, I mean, forgetting the Rat, which came out last year, like, kind of throw that one out, because at this point, it's a year old, the prices are so high, whatever. Just focusing on the 2021 releases, they really are doing it right for them. That's 3 pairs that all look different enough that it's not crazy to think that people are going to want all 3.
I feel like, though, like, now you tell me, because I don't wear this shit, so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like, I don't know. I mean, no one's going to get the blue at retail, so they would have to pay resale. Unless it starts out significantly lower, I feel like they're going to always choose Sand in this timeline for the next couple months.
I don't know if that's the case, because there are people, like, that want the dark color, and that is the closest now of any of these slides or anything to black.
That's true.
People have been fiending for a black Yeezy slide.
That's true.
And this is your closest of foams or slides to a black pair.
You're colorblind. Don't even fucking matter. You got your black pair.
I feel like if you're colorblind, you can still tell the difference, though.
I don't know. I got a friend who's colorblind, and he's always telling me when he can or can't see shit, because I definitely don't know.
Facts.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but
I just can't believe like people bring themselves to spend like $600 on a foam shoe.
I can't either. But
it's crazy. But I still do think that it's like we haven't reached a point yet where I think it's like I'm wary about the buy. Like I still think there's value at the current prices because
I think that's right.
It's April 15th.
Yeah, it's not even fucking June.
Right. Like if this was June, July right now, I mean, then I'd be a little more weary of like, all right, we've seen that huge growth, whatever. But the fact is that we're in April and it's progressing like it is, and it seems to go up like $5 to $10 a day. I can go through. So what's the size 10 at now?
Of which color?
Moon gray. I'll just go. I'll the ones that arrived today. I'll go through what I paid for them because I have the receipts in front of me.
$365 moon gray.
Is it 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so on April 6th, my purchase price was $321. What about a 9?
$342.
Purchase price was $293. What about 8?
$348.
So on March 29th, so I bought this one earlier. It was $329. What about 11?
Someone actually traded me 2 11s for a
what'd you say?
A size 9 night, but yeah.
400.
So I 336 on April 2nd, and then sand I have 2 from a 10 at 338 and a 12 at 336.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And that was an 8. That was a 10 at 338 was last Wednesday or last Thursday, and that's 378 is the lowest that's now, and that's in a week. And it's been a week after release too. Like that was already 2 weeks after release, and this is another week after that. And it's
crazy that your stuff gets to you so quickly.
Yeah, it should get.
I mean, it's hit or miss. Like these are all the same day.
Priority buyers. Okay, he gets that priority shipping rate. He probably gets like a fancy package. It comes to him in a day and a half.
They probably pay him to buy.
Yeah, fuckers.
He probably traded a couple of pairs for StockX like equity or something.
That sounds more right, actually. That's definitely a much more likely scenario there. All right, what we got next? I think was our last one.
You know how most people have 3% buying fees on StockX?
Yeah.
They actually pay him 3% every time he goes to StockX.
Yeah.
He's laughing that casually because it's true, and he just doesn't want the secret getting out.
He pulled up to the headquarters with a bunch of used shoes, and instead of them turning him away and being like, "Nah, we don't accept used shoes" or whatever, they were like, "All right, we'll trade for equity right now." And so that's how
you sign them.
Yeah.
The thing was, like, I came up right after and did the same thing, and they just laughed at me. I don't understand the difference. Like, it's not even fair. I want to be glossy when I grow up.
Same.
All right, what are we buying? What should you be buying now? We just talked about the foams. I mean, obviously, I guess that was a price range. Some of the pairs I just saw, the sand 8 through 10 has the highest volume and the lowest pricing. I think that's a fair buy right now. Size 5 look like a fair buy. Other shoes,
6 and 7 are just like rocking in sand. It's like that one I'm a little more wary about, but that's women. But that's what happened with the slides too. Is that 6 and 7 became the best sizes as women started to get hip to them.
Yeah.
So even though it's a higher price, it still might be like I'd rather buy a 7 right now than a 13. If you're talking about that higher price point.
I think Kyanites too are still a buy. Gloss, you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that. Right now, we don't know any more 700 V3s on the horizon, and I don't see the demand for that model going anywhere.
Now, what size
people still
focusing on with those?
Kind of. I mean, for me in the store, like we really sell that meat, like 7 to 11 is our best selling sizes. I'm not really specific on any of those, but I would drop down to like a 6 and go up to a 13. Like I'm not really biased towards any sizes in them. It seems to be a unisex shoe, and it's the cheapest one in that range now because safflowers have gone up. Arzurettes are more expensive, and azaleas are way more expensive. So if you want a lighter color one, that's your cheapest option. And since we don't see any more coming, I don't see the model dying off anytime soon. I mean, we just talked about 700 V1s at V2s. A mauve dropped 3 years ago.
Got a question right here by Mules. I think that's Mules. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Who else would be called Mueller? It's got to be Mules. What are your thoughts on that, Gloss?
So, Taupe GS is interesting because I think the fact that it was delayed really hurt it. Because, like, when release day came, we had all sizes in men's, no grade school. And we had women ask about it. And we said, we'll post when we get grade school, whatever. We didn't get our first grade schools in probably for a month after release. And we had, like, 1 or 2 people come in right away, and that's it. And people have not been really asking about it women-wise. But, like, we have left in men's, we have, like, an 8, a 9, a 10, 12.5, and 14. And, like, we've replaced 1 or 2 of those sizes. So we pretty much burned through men's sizes, and grade school's not moving. But I think it's partly women aren't there. And in general, like, we haven't been selling grade school 4s great in the store yet. It's just hasn't reached our market. So I think by the fall, the Taupe grade schools are going to absolutely bang both online and in store. Because I think the 4s are warming up for women in the store, but they're not. Yeah. They're definitely not there yet.
So you buying
like I've been buying them as people have been bringing them in. Some of them I bought very high because I was paying payout at the time. But right now in the tuck, I have like 17 or 18 grade school pairs.
Yeah.
And they've all been store cash outs.
It's just like a heavy fall shoe. I think when women, like, 4s keep rolling, and the women, I kind of agree with Mules, like, they just don't know about it yet because it's not, women are so color based, and it's just not on the colors that they're, looking for. So that's maybe one we could be add towards buying, because I kind of like that on the longer term play, to be honest with you.
Where'd you stand
on
demand?
The demand has been very strong for Taupe 4s for men's. I'm higher on that one now, even though it's not the right season for it. It just is one that people really ask about.
Coach, where'd you stand on golf 4s right now?
I actually had a couple of questions in the DMs about that, and I'm loving them right now. I mean, I think I'm fine with that. I've still got bids set across, and if people fall into my range, I'll go up to 315, 325 with some sizes.
He doesn't like them. He loves them.
Yeah, it's just fact. I got asked when's the first time I would consider scaling out, and my first scale out is planned around like late July, early August, and I expect them to be in the 450 range by that point. If they're not, then I'm just going to be patient, and I'm not going to really scale out of anything until 450. But I would like to sell them more in the 500 plus range, and I have full confidence they'll get there. So pretty happy about, how much volume I've seen on sites with this shoe, and just knowing the pairs, these are pairs that are all getting worn.
Yeah.
So, that's a really good thing here. Yeah. A lot of resellers I don't get many resellers who want to sell me shoes, and I've had resellers respond to me about golf shoes, which is a sign that I like. Because they just don't want to deal with them. They don't know the market. They don't feel comfortable. They think they're holding a brick that's not going to appreciate, and so they just move it forward. So I think even though we've had a buy period where it was really easy to get pairs from 280 to 300 in the big sizes, they might be a little bit more expensive now. But I think the name of the game right now is still acquisition of these pairs.
Yeah. It's crazy because it seems pretty straightforward to move these, but evidently not to most people.
No, people don't like fucking with things they don't sell constantly. They like staying within their realm of what they know. They know a AJ1,
sure.
They know a AJ1 mid, they know a blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Golf market scares them. So, I mean, that's just opportunity for us.
Facts.
And I think, honestly, the fact that I've been getting, honestly, more DMs about those than anything kind of shows that point. There's so many people who don't know what to do with them. You know, I get tons of DMs, but there's usually not about a specific shoe. It's usually about a wide range of shoes. So, I don't know. I like it.
Anything else?
Black and white dunks.
Where's the price? What are you seeing on the prices with that, Gloss? Because I mean, they're pushing. So I mean, if you're cashing out right now in that 7 to 10 range, which we talked about, we liked, you're paying. I mean, you're paying $290. You're paying $280 the best, maybe $300 in the real world of, you know, people like members in our group can buy. So are you still buying those shoes at that point? I mean, the volume's insane. The shoe's awesome, but what are your thoughts on that?
So
23,000. The two. Jesus.
Right. So the two that I like in this run of like dunks this year so far is black and whites and then UNLVs. I think UNLVs are a sleeper because people really like the St. John's, and although it's gray, it's similar enough, and it has the fact that it was the off-white going for it. That one I bought one of each size, like just to have, because people have been asking about that one in the store, and they're at a cheaper price point, and they were part of that Foot Locker restock. So that one I like. Black and whites, I mean, they sell. We've sold a ton of them in the store at $375, no problem. And like people don't even bat an eye at that price because it's black. Like it's just a simple one. So even at this price point, I still think it's reasonable. I'm gonna buy I guess what I have with 11.5. I'm just gonna go buy one right now because it's down to 274. I wonder if the bid something moved, but the demand is so strong there. But coming forward, you also, I don't think it's a bad buy to save that money for UNC's and for Michigan State lows. I think those two are the ones that are next when they come out.
Yes.
And definitely a little more wary. Like people are going to try and make the comp on the black and white dunk highs. I'm not as sold on that, but we'll see. But I'm still trying to.
So I'm not making that comp either. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of basically when I've been posting about what I want to buy. It's black and dunks, 700 V3s, foam runner, and that's it. I think. And then the last thing, which because we sold a ton of them in store, is Silver Toes. That's been our number one selling Jordan 1 this year in the shop.
There you
Interesting.
Go. That is interesting.
So
guys, there's a bunch of dunks dropping tomorrow. Isn't there a bunch of dunks dropping tomorrow? I know Europe has a bunch.
Most of them got pushed.
Sneakers, I think there's like a green women's pair that's dropping tomorrow.
Okay, well, that's the only one that. All these dunks are goes, guys. Like all of them. I mean, the mint pair is beautiful. That'll be a women banger. So make sure and go for that. UK guys, they're gonna release in a little bit for y'all, anyways, because time difference. So I mean, that's something you guys should be putting your effort into. All these dunks flip. Like it's an easy flip. It's just really an easy flip. Dunk lows are the wave.
An easy way to put it.
All right, I think we covered things pretty good. Brandon, you probably got most of those buys written down, right? Well, I'm gonna start that channel where we have that stuff listed for you guys, so that you can go.
I just have it as buy now section, and it's gonna be the last 5 minutes.
That's fine. I'll go over it.
Yeah.
It's just I need to shave my.
Another black cat. I'll take that. Okay. The grade school. I'll take it.
Yeah, black cat great. Black cats are.
Did you say you just sold them, Brandon?
Well, yeah, but
you guys see what I'm talking about? Like this is shit. This is what I was referencing earlier. Like
he actually forgot he had it, but then his brother's fish owner had 10 pairs in his basement.
He's the guy who like opens up his trading account and's like, oh shit, I forgot about that 40,000 I had sitting there.
Wrong.
Oh,
there's no way I could forget these because I've been sitting on size 3.5 and 4.5 for about a year now. So believe me, it's fully ingrained in my mind that I have another few pairs of these. So I'm selling them like 1 a week, 2 a week, making good money. But like, I wouldn't mind if they move quicker.
So
the 4.5 is. I'm gonna list my 4.5 right now.
Where are the dunk lows? When are like the ones that got pushed releasing? Does anybody know? Like the Michigan and
No clue.
Oh, the dunks? I have no idea.
I'm seeing all these that were pushed. Fuck. Everything's pushed. It's annoying. All right. Well, good shit. We'll get this up for you guys so you can rewatch it. Get some calls.
Oh, so that's not a hyper royal, if we're being honest, but that's a topic for another day. You can't in good conscience call the 14s that dropped hyper royal, then the 13s that dropped hyper royal, and then all of a sudden this one comes out and this is still hyper royal. This is
it's hyper royal, but then they like dust it or whatever.
It's
so
like
it used to, yeah. I don't know. It's whatever.
Hypergene blue, light.
All right.
Look, is this hyper royal too? This color, like that's hyper.
There you go.
Fucking hyper royal. Okay, sorry.
All right. Nope.
All right, guys.